it's Danielle and I am back with my week 4 of Project Life. So I'm going to be using the Design A page protector, but I'm just going to be doing a page and a half. So I've already cut one of my page protectors down to just be a half a page. You can see that I've already done some work on my photos before I printed them out. I did some typing on them and put some digital brushes on them. These digital brushes both came from Ali Edwards. The one that says the story of today came from her What Today Looked Like set, and the one that says So Happy came from her Heart Happy set. And I believe you can get both of those on her in her shop on her website. So the rest of my cards came from One Little Bird. Most of them came from the Love List set, except for the one that has the 3 little triangles on it. That one came from the Artisan Journaling card set. So I get everything situated, but I'm just showing you real quickly that I pulled a bunch of cork embellishments and also a few stamp sets to work with this week on my pages. So I'm going to start out with my title card, and I'm just getting the dates on here. I'm using my Project Life roller stamp and some Memento ink. I think it's in Tuxedo Black. So I colored this card the week 4. I colored it to match my color scheme this week. And how I did that is I pulled this card and also the card that says Loving into Photoshop Elements, and I picked up the color from the little hearts on that card to use for this card, and that's just, it helps everything coordinate, and I don't have to think about what color to use on those weekly title cards, so it makes it easy. So I pulled out a couple more cards to work with. Now this blue card with the little white hearts is my favorite card this week. I think it's really cute, and I'm just going to put one cork heart on this. And I mentioned this last week, but I love just taking simple cards and doing simple embellishments on them and just keep everything really clean and simple. I think it looks really nice. So on this plain white card, I'm using this stamp set. It's from Technique Tuesday. It's by Ali Edwards. It's called Just Awesome Tabs. And the phrase that I'm using from that says, "Celebrate this." So I'm just stamping it out on some just scrap paper here, and then I'm going to cut that out, and then I'm going to back it with some orange pattern paper. It's actually an orange card that came in the Love List set. It has, oh, it almost looks like triangles or diamonds over and over again. It's a really, really small print, but I'm just using it to add a little bit more color to my layout, and also it helps ground that stamp. Otherwise it would just kind of be floating on that card. So what we're celebrating here is that my daughter finally got cleared to get her feeding tube taken out. For those of you who don't know, my daughter has had a feeding tube since she's been 6 months old. And it's been a very long, exhausting process to wean her off that tube. It was pretty difficult at times, but we finally made it. She had her final appointment with her dietitian this week, and she's gaining weight great, and so we're going to finally get that removed. We won't actually get it removed until next month, but she had her final appointment, and we're excited and nervous all at the same time, so it should be an exciting adventure for us, that's for sure. So the next card I'm going to be working on is this Loving card, and this is the card I was talking about that I pulled into Photoshop, and I took the color from those little hearts to use on my title card. But what I'm doing is I'm just writing 5 things that are my favorites this week. So I wrote Grey's Anatomy, Listening to London, of course Always Diet Pepsi, Black Bean Salad, and Scrapbook Kits. So just some of my favorites right now. Then I move on to my next card. This card has these 3 little triangles on it, and I think it would look really cute to put one of these cork hearts in one of them. And I put it in the red one on the top, but actually later I end up moving that up to the picture. I put it right under the So Happy. But in this picture, me and my daughter are playing with her little dollhouse, And I'm just writing on this card how much I've been enjoying just listening to London and watching her imagination grow, and um, watching her play with all of her toys and being creative. It's been a lot of fun. 3-year-olds are super fun. So I'm just writing that down on this card, and the words look a little lost on there, so I just underline everything, and that seems to help quite a bit. So next I pull out all the cards that I'm going to be using for the right hand side of my layout, the half page. And I start with just putting a little heart on this collage of photos of my daughter and my niece. And I used a Tracy Larson template for this. I also used a Tracy Larson template for the other photo on this side. And then I work on the other cards. So these are just 2 plain white cards, and so I'm trying to think of different things to do with them. At first I decide to cut a strip of paper from that card that I've been kind of cutting apart and using on this layout. And then I decide to take the Today stamp from this set by Ali Edwards. This actually came in her Week in the Life kit. And I just used the same black ink that I've been using on this layout. And I think that it looks okay, but the more I look at it, the more I think that it's just too bold, and it just stands out too much. Right when I stamp it, I think that I kind of think that it's really thick and bold. So I just place it on that 3x4 card, and I kind of line up the other cards on my mat here just to see what it's going to kind of look like. And I just start moving on to this 3x4 card. And I pull out my stamps again. I'm looking on this stamp set to look for a phrase, but then I remember that the theme for this month's Ali Edwards stamp subscription is gatherings, and we are actually down at my brother's house in these photos. We went to his house to watch the Super Bowl, so we're all gathering together for this, and I thought, oh, there has to be something on that set. So I take a look at that, and I pull off 3 different phrases, and I'm thinking maybe I'll do like a line of phrases across this 4x6 card, or maybe a border around the whole thing. So I pull off the ones that kind of apply to our situation, and I'm just lining them up to see what they might look like. And what I end up doing is taking the one that says party time, and I'm considering just stamping that and mimicking the card that I did on the other side that said celebrate this. I stamp it on some scrap paper and then cut that out and back it with some of that leftover card, that orange printed card. And I'm thinking, you know, do I want to mimic that other card exactly? I don't want to necessarily have it be boring, but I know repetition is good as well. So I finally just decide I would go with it, that I liked that much better than the Today. So I just tape it on the top of this card, and then what I write on this is Seahawks versus Patriots. And there's something about it that just I don't like. I don't know if it's my handwriting or the size of the words or just how very plain that card is. There's just something that I don't really like about it. I put it up there, but I knew right away that I didn't like that. So I bring it down to this 4x6 card and think maybe I want to put it on that. But then I remember I didn't cut out all of the cards that came with the Love List set. So I cut out this one that it has little tiny brown plus signs all over it. And I decide to use that. And that also adds a little bit of color to this side of the week, because otherwise it was looking very, very white. So I just adhere this down on this card, the party time stamp. And then there's a little section of white that then I write the Seahawks versus Patriots, and overall I like that much better. Then I take my 4x6 card and I'm just going to draw a couple messy lines around the whole thing, and then also take my pen and draw in some lines to write on. But I'm just talking about that my husband and my brother have this bet at the Super Bowl every year, and whoever loses has to buy the other family dinner. And the only benefit to losing is that when the next year's Super Bowl comes around, you get to pick your teams first. So it seemed like every year my husband would always lose. And the next year the Super Bowl would come and he would get to pick his team first and he would lose. It was just a really vicious cycle, which was fine because, you know, it was fun getting together and doing dinner. So I definitely wasn't complaining about having to buy it. It was a lot of fun. But last year he happened to win. And so last year my brother had to buy us dinner. And then this year he won again. So maybe we're on a winning streak now. Who knows? But this year my husband usually ends up having to work Super Bowl weekend. And this year he didn't. So my brother lives a couple hours away, so we traveled down there and watched the Super Bowl with him. And he's a true Seahawks fan, so he was really sad when they lost. I felt a little bit bad for him. I'm not into sports at all, so I don't get that heartbreak over your team losing. But he was super sad about it. He texted me the next day and was like, my heart still hurts. So I felt a little bad for him, but we won again, so I guess he'll be buying us dinner sometime. But once I get this written down, I take all of the cards over to my sewing machine, like I've been doing every week, and just get some stitching on it. I didn't stitch as much on this layout or on this week as I have in the past, but I'm still really enjoying the way that looks. So now I'm getting all of the cards back where they belong and taking a look at the week and deciding if it needs anything else. I actually decide to switch a couple things around just to make everything more balanced. And I realize now that all of those photos that were typed on are all grouped together again. But overall, I think this looks pretty balanced. So now what I do is I put all of my little cards in the right pockets. And I always struggle with getting them on the back side of the page protector. I finally just turned it over and got them in. As you can see, there's square cards behind rounded cards, you know, where the corners are rounded, and that doesn't ever bother me. I don't ever try to make that match. It doesn't bother me at all. But this finishes up this week, and I just want to say thanks so much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you all next week. All right, see you later, guys.